Alrighty guys, what is going up? Welcome back to the best investing channel on YouTube. I am your host Carter, and in today's video we're going to be talking about some Reddit stocks. Now, some of these stocks are definitely going to be higher risk, higher reward for sure. And with all of these, I cannot stress this enough. Make sure you guys do your own research before you invest. That is crucial, especially for these. The reason why is because these are going to be the stocks that your friends, your family, people on Reddit, YouTubers like myself are going to be talking about. And if you don't understand them, don't invest in them. And if you can't afford to lose the money in a lot of these, don't even do it. It's better. And honestly, I would rather see you guys invest in the S&P 500 for the long term than companies like this if you don't understand what you're doing. Okay, now that we got that off my chest, let's start off with AMC. Okay, we did talk about this one a couple days ago, and the momentum has continued, right? We were talking about this stock when it was about $50, okay? It came all the way up to $72 before selling off down to $55. Now, is this expected, or is this thing going to continue to go up? Honestly, this is pretty crazy. The reason why I say that is because most of the time with these stocks, they have a huge run up and then they have a crash down. Let's look at a company that did that. GME, GameStop here. You guys can see that this company came up and straight back down, but it did consolidate at a middle ground for quite some time before seeing some buying pressure enter in, right? Today, GameStop is up 7%, okay? And a lot of people are thinking once it breaks out of this 350 mark, that's the mark that it's tapped multiple times, and it just has a harder time breaking above it, right? It hit it there, sold off, hit it there, sold off, right? So a lot of people are saying once it breaks out at 350, the next resistance is going to be about $500, okay? But the biggest thing I want you guys to get is that AMC right now is consolidating out, okay? So it's not 100% selling off like I thought of, or like I thought it would, but it is still being a little volatile, right? It is consolidating, but look at here. The spread is $70 and $37. It's $46 and $57. So the spreads are very large in a given day, right? So it's still very, very risky, but overall it is starting to consolidate out, all right? Me personally, I think that this stock's probably going to sell off a little bit more, probably down to about $45 to $35 and consolidate there for some time. But the biggest thing about this is this stock could easily come up to $100 before then. The volatility on this thing is super, super high. So for me, I think a good strategy for sure is to just hop in if you can afford it. Definitely under 1% of your portfolio if you're a long-term investor for sure. The reason why is because if you go heavily in it, most of the time you will lose money, right? With these higher risk, higher reward plays, I would set my stops pretty much below 50 and just see where it goes. You know, if you're willing to risk $5 for this thing to possibly come up back up to these highs here at 72, you're risking $5 to make 20. You know, so it's a pretty decent risk and reward ratio there. But a lot of people are starting to realize that AMC could be dying out a little bit. So GameStop is the one to go to. We've done it in the past, making this thing squeeze up. So let's do it again, right? So this thing is up, 7% like I just showed you. And the difference between GameStop and AMC hasn't really changed anything inside the company. They're using this money that they're getting pretty much from the stock squeezing up, and they're selling their shares. They're pretty much using that to pay off a lot of its debt, because during 2020, AMC did have to take on a couple $2 billion in debt because theaters were closed. So they had to take on debt to get through that year. Now they have the advantage with the stock price being so high, they can sell millions of shares and pay off some of that debt, and it really won't affect the company itself. GameStop, on the other hand, is really turning their head from brick and mortar stores more towards online. I think they should have been doing this a long time ago. They changed a lot of the board members and a lot of things like that. GameStop definitely is a one that could be pretty decent in a couple of years, but the volatility on this thing is off the charts for sure. But obviously, once it breaks out of this 350 mark, next resistance is 500. For me, if you were going to hop into this, I'd wait for a break and do some sort of day trade or very, very tight swing trade. For me, it's just kind of in this middle ground now where it could sell off or continue to push up. So we'll see what happens with this one. And the other one that I want to talk about is BlackBerry. So BlackBerry, they're changing the company. Okay, they want and they are getting more into cybersecurity. And they already have around 150 million. They're in 150 million cars. They make software for cars now in cyber computing and cybersecurity and all that. I think that's really interesting because they're really focusing on privacy protection, which is awesome, especially in today's world. The valuation for me is super, super high, but this thing could definitely start squeezing up to these highs here, just like all of the other Reddit stocks and meme stocks have done, right? So resistance here, it could possibly swing up. But this one, honestly, definitely carries a lot of potential. They're changing the company. Could take a couple of years. A lot of people are saying around 2022 before we start seeing some growth in those cybersecurity sectors with this company. So for me, I'm just going to have to wait it out and see what happens, all right? But that's pretty much what's going on with AMC, GME, and BlackBerry. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and overall I hope you guys got something of value out of this video. That's the main idea, guys. I'm trying to give you guys as much info as I possibly can. So we will see you guys later. Remember to stay happy, guys, stay positive, and stay safe out there. Take care, everyone.